Okay, so all right, so I'm continuing. We are talking about refractory period, and we use an example.
Sir, please kindly record.
Come again.
Please kindly do the recording as well.
Yes, I'm recording. I am. So let's say there's what you are using the same example, the numbness, to explain the refractory and the absolute and relative refractory period. So I'm saying with the absolute refractory period, no stimulation or whatsoever would help another impulse to take place. So it means when the cell is within an absolute refractory period, nothing could cause it to help it lead to an action potential state. That means even when you stimulate the person's hand, the person will still not feel it. So like the numbness that we use, you will see when the numbness first begin and you touch the person, there's no way the person would feel any sensation. So it means at that point in time, the person's limb or hand is within an absolute refractory period. But you could see that with time, the blood will begin to flow in bits. Even though the numbness hasn't elapsed yet, when you touch the person very hard, what happens? The person will have some sensations. So the person having those sensations, even though the numbness has not fully recovered or has not fully ended, we call that sort of period relative refractory period. So it means relative refractory period happens when and the intensity of this. No, it happens when I don't know how to connect this. When the intensity is too high to cause an action potential, or when the intensity is too high to help it lead to an impulse, then we say, oh, there's a relative refractory period. Okay, so please, if you have any question in relation to relative and absolute, please, Godwin.
Okay, sir. So the example you use in explaining the refractory period,
okay,
can we therefore conclude that it is not going to be something that is going to be general? Because if, for instance, the blood flow in me is going to every part of my body, can I in any way experience refractory period in my life?
You say if the blood flow is what?
If blood is flowing through every part of my body, I do not experience any numbness. Can I experience the refractory period?
I'm just using this as an example. So after maybe the person, for action potential to take place, it means that a whole lot of issues happen. So for instance, the person is seriously laughing. Okay, you are happy, you are in the happy mood. At that period, you are in an action potential state. So with time, what happens? The happiness drip down very, very high. Or no, it drops to a large extent. it becomes out of norm. And what happens at that point in time, you are within a refractory period. Then with time, it will just bring you down. It will just bring you to where? To the normal state. That's the resting potential stage we are talking about. I was just using the numbness. The numbness could also be a form of what? Of refractory period. So we have different what instances whereby refractory period happens. It's not only about the numbness, but throughout our daily lives, these things what happens to us. So because so long as you are within an action potential state, definitely you'll be in a refractory period before you come back to a resting potential state.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Tanko.
Yes, sir. Sir, it's declining from a hill with a car on top.
Tanko,
like when you are descending from a hill with a car.
When you are climbing.
Oh. Yeah, when you are descending. When you are descending.
When you are descending, okay.
Yes, sir. From a high level with a car on a top speed.
Okay.
It's a feeling that the refractory type.
When you are descending from a car on a high level, you are driving,
yes. Yes, and you are descending from a higher level to a lower level. You see, sometimes you do get some sharp relief. Is it the refractory type?
That is what the action potential state, because right now your brain is highly what? Active. But with time, as your brain becomes active, with time, it moves, those activities what begins to drop. And you can see that all of a sudden, oh, you just become what? A bit moody for a while. That means you are within the refractory period. Then with time, it will bring you to what? To the normal state. That's the resting potential state. So these things, it is something that happens to us frequently in our daily lives, day in and day out. We go through action potential, refractory, then normal, which is the resting potential. So action potential is more or less like you being alert, that sort of you being happy, you being more active always. That's the resting potential state, the action potential state. Okay, Gertrude.
Okay, sir, I really want to understand this. So let me try and give an example to see if I really understand it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, for example, let's take sexual intercourse, for example.
Okay.
This is how I understand it. When there is foreplay before the action takes place, after the intercourse, then when the man ejaculates, that is when he is in refractory state, period.
Good.
Yeah, this is how I understand if
exactly.
I am right. Okay.
Exactly, because with the action potential stage, that means there's a blood flow, so there's an erection, right?
Yeah.
So with time, you see that it begins to what? It begins to drop.
Drop.
Then all of a sudden, it goes what? It goes
down.
Down. So that means that is what? That is the refractory period. So that's why when it goes down, at that point in time, no matter the foreplay that you do, what happens? There will be no erection. So that means it is within an absolute refractory period.
Yes.
But with time, what happens? You could see that, even though it is in a refractory period, with time, when the foreplay is intense or strong, it will cause what? An erection, then another action will begin.
Yes.
All right. So please, I hope it is self-explanatory.
Okay,
hello, sir.
George.
So,
George,
so
please,
using the example,
there's a lot of feedback. So please, in case you want to ask a question, it's better for you to use the emoji. So George, please be on the floor. I'm muting all of you. George, you can unmute and talk. George, please unmute and speak. I'm waiting.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Yes. With the refractory stage, let's assume you had an accident and you have a deep cut and they give you anesthesia. What is the work of the anesthesia at that deep cut? Because when the deep cut is there and they do the stitches with anesthesia, you don't feel the pain. Does that mean at that moment, that particular part is in the refractory stage?
The thing is, at that point in time, we have certain things known as endorphins within our brain and all that. Okay, so it's more or less like you are forcing the body to be in what? In a refractory period stage, which is quite unnatural. But we're talking about, yes, so definitely it means the body is within a refractory period stage because of the anesthesia we gave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Godwin.
Okay, going by the example the lady made.
Okay.
So can we say that after ejaculation, the period after ejaculation is the refractory period?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Clear.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Sir, the example in relation to the anesthesia.
Okay.
In that state, that person cannot even move that part of the body. So is that when you are given a yes, sir.
You're saying that the person can move part of the body.
That part of the body when you are given the anesthesia, especially when the third section of your spine is being injected.
It's not that the person can't move, but the person wouldn't feel pain. When it comes to action potential, it's not only about movement. I was using movement as one example to help you understand. Day in and day out, we go through a series of action potential. So you feeling something is an action potential. You having sexual intercourse, there's an action potential. So the example he gave is about pain.
Yes, sir.
So if you have a pain, then that means you are in an action potential stage. So the anesthesia they are giving would cause what? An absolute refractory period.
But not resting.
But not what?
But not resting.
Resting.
Yes. In a stage.
Because when we say it is in a resting potential,
there is no moving. It's not
about the movement. His example he gave is not your mind shouldn't be on the movement. It's about the pain that we are talking about. So for it to come to a normal state, then it means that we haven't even stimulated, or nobody has touched the body to cause any pain or whatsoever. So it is in a resting potential state. It is normal. The body is normal.
Okay.
But in a situation whereby it moves to an absolute refractory period, then it means we've used what? Anesthesia to cause numbness. So even when you cause pain, the person wouldn't feel it. That's the essence. So his situation, he was using pain as an example to explain action potential and refractory period.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so that'll be all. Synaptic transmission, I don't know whether I can cover another topic today, but I'll try and cover it. Then you see what happens. If we can, I don't think we can do everything. Okay, with a refractory period, these are the things you're supposed to know. So refractory period, it lasts from 0 milliseconds to 400 milliseconds. So the first 400 milliseconds of any action. So after you remember I said, where is the drawing? This. Annotate. You remember I said this side is where the refractory period happens. So this area, there's a time frame. When it is within 0 to 400 milliseconds, then at that point in time, an action there's a refractive period. So refractive period happens within this side from the first 400 milliseconds. And within the refractive period, we can have two forms, that's absolute and relative. The first 200 milliseconds, that's from 0 to 200 milliseconds, is what is referred to as the absolute refractive period. Then from 201 milliseconds to 400 milliseconds is what is referred to as relative refractory period. So that's all about refractory period. So the next topic we'll be doing, please, is there any question when it comes to action potential, resting potential, and refractory period? Because we are done when it comes to that topic. So if you have any question, please ask, or else I'm moving on to another thing altogether. All right, Rashida, your hand is up.
Yes, please. I wanted to ask that with the relative refractory period, can we say that it happens when there is enough stimulation to get an action potential during the resting potential?
Yes, so that's why I said the cell is in a hyperpolarized stage. But you could see that with time, when it moves from an absolute with time, if you cause a strong stimulation, it could lead to another impulse, or it could lead to another action potential, and that is what is referred to as relative refractory period.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you're welcome. So let me get images of synaptic transmission. I'm trying to get a better image, so please exercise some patience. Okay. Oh, I'm struggling to get the image that I want. Oh. Oh, no. Wow. Okay. I'm trying to get a better image just to help you understand this better, but since I'm struggling to get one. What? Mm-hmm. Good. Hmm. Images. Okay, so I hope all of you can see the image, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this is one neuron, okay? And this neuron, this is the axon. This is the axon. Then this side will be which one? So this is the cell body. This is the cell body. And this area is the dendrites. And this is the long bar, which is axon. So after the axon, one next, these regions will be which one? I just want to see if you grasp what we did last time. Oh.
The gaps between them.
No, we haven't got into the gaps yet. I'm talking about the structure of a neuron. When it come again? Hey. Let me mute all of you. So please, I'm saying this is the cell body. This is the dendrites. This is the axon. So beneath the axon, what structure is there?
Beneath the axon.
This, you know, this long bar is the axon.
Yes.
So what other structure is beneath the axon? That's the terminal button, also known as the presynaptic membrane. I remember I told you last week.
I thought you were talking about the holes in between the Neurotransmitters. I thought that was what you were referring to.
No.
I didn't know.
No.
The terminal button is the end of the neuron.
Exactly. Okay. So it means this neuron, that's its terminal. This is its terminal button. This is its terminal button. Then this is another what? Neuron. This neuron. This is another neuron. And this side is the dendrites of the neuron. So it means this neuron would what? Whatever communication or whatever information it is bringing, when it gets to this side, which is the terminal button, it will release the information to which one? The second neuron. So this is neuron 1, neuron 2. Neuron 1 is bringing an information. So the action potential that we are talking about, we're saying it is an impulse. They are carrying a message, that's a chemical. This neuron is carrying a chemical. So when it gets to the terminal button, neuron 1 gets to a terminal button, it will then release that chemical to what? To neuron 2. So that neuron 2 would what? Would act upon the type of chemical that was released. So please, any questions so far?
So please, me, I can't see you.
Please kindly go over again for us.
Okay. So I'm saying this neuron is neuron 1. This neuron 2 is neuron 2. And right now, neuron 1, you know its structure. This is the axon. And this side is the terminal button. And this neuron causes an action potential. So it means the action potential it is causing, it is carrying a chemical. So when those chemicals gets to the terminal button, the neuron will then what? The neuron 1 will then release that chemical to neuron 2, its dendrite. So that's what we normally say, dendrite what? Receives information, dendrite. So it means the terminal button will release that chemical and give it to the dendrite of the second neuron, so that the second neuron will act upon the chemical that was released to it. So please, any question?
It's clear now.
Come again.
Sir, please, I'm okay now. It's clear.
Okay. Okay. So one thing is, in between, this is the terminal button, the base of the terminal button, and this is what the dendrite. So when you would zoom it, this is how it will be like. So this is the terminal button we are talking about. One terminal button. Sorry, yes, the base of what? Of neuron 1. This is a terminal button, and this is the dendrite, the second neuron. So when you use a microscope to check, you could see that there's a gap in between the first neuron, a terminal button, and the second neuron, its dendrite. There's a gap here. And that gap is what is referred to as the synapse or synaptic cleft. So please, if you have a question, please, this is an opportune moment for you to ask me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Michael.
In fact, I'm lost because I just joined. Yeah, I just joined because we're having a class.
Sorry, Michael, you're in what level?
100.
Sorry, Michael, it was a mistake, okay? I was sending a message to the level 200s, and unfortunately, I forwarded it to level 100s, the Sakai platform. So sorry about that. This is for level 200 students.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you too. Please hold on small. I think I need to delete the message. Receiving. All right. So that's the synapse. So let me continue on. So in synaptic transmission, we call the first neuron, we have a name for the first neuron and the second neuron. Okay, so we have a name for the first neuron and the second neuron. The first neuron is mostly called the presynaptic terminal. The first neuron that has the terminal button, because you know the structure is what is the terminal button. We call it the presynaptic terminal. Then the second neuron, its dendrite, is referred to as the postsynaptic terminal, or sometimes, sorry, it's not even terminal, it's membrane. Yeah, membrane. Okay, so please, any question? So basically, that's what you need to know when it comes to these things.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Tango.
Yes, sir. So for the post-synaptic, you said it's membrane. So the pre-synaptic is always the terminal. Because for that, you didn't change the terminal to membrane.
Oh, thank you. It's supposed to be membrane.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so please, any question? All right. So the chemical that I'm saying, it has been what? It has been transferred, or it has been transported by the first neuron, is what is normally referred to as neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitter. So it means whenever there's an action potential taking place, it is what? It is transporting a neurotransmitter. The neuron that is causing an action potential is transporting a neurotransmitter. And we have various types of neurotransmitters. So those neurotransmitters are the ones that will be moved from what? From the presynaptic membrane to the postsynaptic membrane. And every neurotransmitter has ways and means in which it acts on what? On the body. So essentially, that's what normally happens. So today, I don't want to delve deep too much on the synaptic transmission. Right now, this is the background of synaptic transmission. So next week, we would delve into the activity, the real activities that goes on in the synaptic transmission. So I hope it's clear. So this is an opportune moment for you to ask me questions in terms of what we've done so far. We have less than 7 minutes. So if you have any clarification, questions or whatsoever in terms of what we've done, please feel free to ask me. Oh, that's nice. So it means that all of you understood. Okay, Mary.
Sir.
Yeah, Mary, go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I just joined the class. I was having critical thinking. I just saw the announcement.
Mary, Mary, I'm really sorry. Okay, it is my mistake. Okay. I was sending a message to the level 200s, and unfortunately, I forwarded it to your platform. So I just deleted it. So it's not for you. Okay.
It's for level 200.
Exactly.
Yes, Sister
Mary. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Sister Mary.
Yeah. Okay, so please, any other question?
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello, Tango.
Yes, sir. Sir, from your explanation, can we see the neurotransmission is when the charges change?
Tango, will you please get closer to your device? Sometimes your voice is very faint. I have to get close to my speakers to grasp what you are saying. So please get closer to your to your microphone.
Sir, I believe you can hear me now, sir.
Yes, please.
Thank you, sir. I was asking whether the neurotransmission or neurotransmitter is when the charges do changes. The negative and positive charges do change, as you demonstrated in the diagram. Or that's not
okay. The negative and the positive charges changing will cause the action potential, so that the thing being transported by the first neuron will move to the terminal button. So the action potential will be the one that would help the chemical to move. So in the course of these things happening, the ions would also change until it moves to another neuron. So definitely yes. At that moment,
Okay. Thank you very much.
there's an ionic distribution because of the action potential.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So please, any other question? Any other question? Solomon, your microphone was on. Do you have a question or something? All right.
No, sir. No, sir. I'm okay.
Okay. So Huawei 2, do you have a question? Your microphone is on. Then if nobody has a question, then that will be the end of today's meeting. So it was a pleasure having these discussions with you. We draw the
Hello,
cases.
sir.
Hello, sir.
Yep.
Hello, sir.
Yep.
So, sir, please, when are we getting the video recording, sir?
Yes, I need to convert everything. So afterwards, when I'm done converting, within latest by Monday, you should get it. Because normally
Yes,
I
because if we get
convert it
it
to
early,
Google Drive.
we can record all that you said.
All right. All right.
Easier,
So I'll do that
yes.
ASAP.
Thank you very much.
To all
Yes,
of you.
sir. I'm going to prepare TZ for you, sir. Anytime you meet.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, then take care, all of you.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.